everyone! These are the surface area with nets guided notes. Let's get started. A polyhedron is a solid figure with flat faces and straight edges. A prism has two parallel bases, and a pyramid has one base with at least three faces leading to a point, or what's called an apex. They are both named by the shape of their base. Label the names of the polyhedra, and we say polyhedron for plural. This right here is a prism, but it's a special type of prism because all faces are the same. We call this a cube. This shape right here has a base right here of a rectangle, and then this point right here at the top, that's the apex. So this is a pyramid, and since it has a rectangular base, we call it a rectangular pyramid. This shape is a prism because it has parallel bases. The base shapes are rectangles, so we call it a rectangular prism. This next shape has parallel bases that are triangles, so we call this a triangular prism. The shape here on the bottom has a triangular base with an apex, so we call this one a triangular pyramid. Polyhedra can be decomposed into nets. Imagine cutting along the edges of a polyhedron and unfolding it to make it flat. First, let's look at a cube. How many faces does a cube have? Well, a cube has 6 faces. If the cube is unfolded, which of the following nets could be formed? So if we take this cube and we unfold it, is it going to make this net or this net? Well, since a cube has 6 faces, this one to the right also has 6 faces. This one only has 5, so that one wouldn't work. It would be this one right here. Now, let's look at a rectangular pyramid. The base is since it is called a rectangular pyramid, the base would be a rectangle. And the other 4 faces leading to the apex will be triangles. Complete the net below. In the middle, we have the rectangle, and then we have the triangular bases. It already has 2 of them drawn for us. So we're going to have one here on this side and then one here on this side. And if we fold them up, it will form the rectangular pyramid. A blank has 4 triangular faces. That would be a triangular pyramid. The base of the net is drawn. So we can see the base right here. Finish drawing the rest of the net. So if we unfold the base, so if we cut along the edges and unfold it, that's my base. So I'm going to have triangles on each side that are going to be the same. So that is my net. If I fold that up, it's going to give me a triangular pyramid. The base of a triangular prism is a triangle. That's why it's called the triangular prism. Therefore, the net will include 2 triangles. The other 3 faces of the triangular prisms are rectangles. Finish drawing the bases on the net below. The rectangular faces are already drawn. I need 2 triangles, and they're going to be 1 on each side. Now, technically, it doesn't matter if I draw it here in the middle or if I draw it like on the side. If I fold it up, they are still going to form the triangular prism, but you will need 1 on each side. Surface area is the sum of the area of the faces of a 3D object. To determine the surface area of polyhedron, you can sum the area of all the faces. The net of a cube is shown here. One of the areas of a face is labeled. Finish labeling the area of the other faces. Since it is a cube, all sides will be the same, and the area of all sides will be the same. Since it is already labeled as 5 meters squared, all faces will have the area of 5 meters squared. The sum of the areas of the faces is, so if I add up all of those areas, there's 6 of them, so 5 times 6 is 30 meters squared. The surface of the cube is 30 meters squared. That's what surface area means, is the sum of all the face area. Let's determine the surface area of the rectangular pyramid. The base of this specific rectangular pyramid is a square. Why will the area of the other faces be equal? Since it is a square, the base of the triangles will be the same, and it is reaching the same height, so the height of the triangles will also be the same. Finish labeling the area of the faces. It tells me that this square is 36, and then it tells me this triangle is 18. Therefore, all of the other triangles must also be 18 since they will have the same area. The sum of the area of the faces is, so if we add all that up, there's 4 18, so 18 times 4 plus 36. Adding that all up, that gives me 108 meters squared. Therefore, the surface area of the rectangular pyramid is 108 meters squared. Practice. Answer the following questions. Write your answer in the box. This is a net of what shape? If I fold the shape up, I'm going to have parallel bases that are rectangles. Therefore, the shape will be a rectangular prism. Use this net of a triangular pyramid to determine the surface area. It already tells me the area of each shape, so I need to sum up the area. So that would be 5 times 4, which will be 20 centimeters squared. Finish labeling the area of each surface and determine the surface area of the triangular prism. It has already told me these are all 8. Since it is a triangular prism, these sides are going to be parallel and the same. Since this side over here is 3 meters squared, this side down at the bottom will also be 3 meters squared. To determine the area, I need to sum up the area of the faces. So that was going to be 8 times 3 because there are 3 faces that are 8 meters squared. And then 3 times 2 because there are 2 faces that are 3 meters squared. 8 times 3 is 24. 3 times 2 is 6. Sum that together, it gives me 30 meters squared. The area of one side of a cube is 1.5 square inches. What is the surface area of the cube? Since it is a cube, all faces will be the same and have the same area. If I sum up the area, that's going to be 6 times 1.5, and that gives me 9 inches squared. Look at the rectangular prism net below. How many total faces are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Will any of the faces have the same area? These 2 squares on the side will have the same area, so we'll mark those in one color. And these triangles are also going to have the same area. That's not always the case with rectangular prisms. Since this is 3 and this is 3, when we fold it up, all of these lengths right here will be 3, and they both have this side length of 6. So yes, they will all have the same area there. Write the area of each face inside the shape. Let's start with our squares. So this will be 3 times 3, which will be 9 meters squared. This base length is 6, and you don't see right here what this length is, but think as I fold up the shape, it's going to have to fit with this length right here. So that will be 3 meters. The area of these rectangles will be 6 times 3, which is 18. The sum of the areas of the faces, so I need to sum up those 18s, which is 4 times 18, and then I need to add that to the squares, which is 2 times 9, and that adding together will give me 90 meters squared. The surface area of the rectangular prism is 90 meters squared. A triangular prism net is drawn below, and I can see that because right here, these triangles will be the 2 parallel bases, and if I fold it up, that's going to create a prism, so a triangular prism. How many total faces are there? We have these 2 triangles, and then we have these 3 squares, so there are 5 total faces. Will any of the faces have the same area? We already know the triangles have the same area. What about the rectangular areas? This area right here is going to be 12 times 15. This area over here is going to be 10 times 15. And this area will be 10 times 15. So it looks like the 2 outside rectangles will have the same area as well, but the bottom rectangle will have a different area. Write the area of each face inside the shape. Let's start with this middle rectangle. So that's going to be 12 times 15, which was 180 centimeters squared. These rectangles on the side will be 10 times 15, which is 150 centimeters squared. Then these triangles will be 12 times 8 divided by 2, and that will give me 48 centimeters squared. The sum of all the areas of the faces is, so if I sum up all of those areas, that gives me 576 centimeters squared. Therefore, the surface area of the rectangular prism is 576 centimeters squared. Slant height is the distance from the center of a face to the apex. The net, this right here, this, if I fold it all up, it's going to give me an apex at the top and this base at the bottom, which is a rectangular. So that's going to be a rectangular pyramid. The base is a square with a side length of 8 inches and the slant height is 10 inches. Label the net and write the area of each face inside the shape. So it labels this on this shape. So the base is 8 inches. That length right there will be this length right here, or any of these lengths. They will all be 8 inches. This right here is the slant height. You can see where it's called slant height because it's slanted. But when I unfold it, that's going to be the height of the triangles at 10. The face in the middle right here will be 8 times 8. That will be 64 inches squared. The triangles will all have the same area because that base is a square. Therefore, they will all have the same base length. The area will be 8 times 10 divided by 2. 8 times 10 is 80, divided by 2 is 40. The surface area of the rectangular pyramid, so if I sum up all those numbers, 40, 40, 40, 40, plus 64, that gives me 224 inches squared. Explain how to use a net to find the surface area of a polyhedron. First, calculate the area of each face, then find the sum of all the area of the faces. Practice. Find the surface area of the polyhedron using the nets. This is a net of if I fold this up, these bases right here, these triangles, will be parallel to each other, and then the rest are rectangles. That's going to form a triangular prism. Now let's find the area. This area right here in the middle will be 7 times 3. That will be 21. Now let's look at this rectangle here on the side. I know the length is 7. The width, I have to think. If I fold that up, that is going to match with this line right here. So the width of that triangle is 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Now looking at this rectangle here on the left, again, I know the length is 7. It doesn't tell me the width, but if I fold it up, that's going to match with this length right here. So that's going to be 4. Therefore, 7 times 4 is 28. I know my triangles will be the same because those are my parallel bases, and those will be 3 times 4 because this 5 is not perpendicular. These 3 and the 4 are perpendicular. So 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. They are both 6 meters squared. Now I need to add 6 plus 28 plus 21 plus 35 plus 6, and that gives me 96 meters squared. Determine the surface area of a cube with side length of 3 feet. Since it is a cube, I know all the areas of the faces will be the same. So let's find the area of one face and we can just write in all of them. So since the side length is 3, 3 times 3 is 9. I need to sum up all of that, so 9 times 6, since there are 6 faces, is 54. The surface area is 54 feet squared. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.